Hello, welcome to Board Game Bonkers. I'm JC, and today we're going to take a look at our top 6 miniatures board games. Not necessarily miniatures that are amazing, although some of these games do have some really good, cool miniatures indeed, but sense of the gameplay and how those games play out and the crunch they give. These are some great games on this list. And please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. And did you know that actually 90% of viewers are not subscribed? I have no idea why. I want to do one video a week. Won't bombard you. Please do hit that subscribe button and please give this video a like if you enjoy its content. Now, with that out of the way, let's get on to this list, starting with our number 6, and this is Lords of Hellas. Now, Lords of Hellas, you'll be going on this campaign, you'll be hunting down monsters, etc. So let me explain how the game plays, and then I'll let you know my thoughts on what I like about the game. So in Lords of Hellas, players will control unique heroes with different abilities, aiming to either dominate the land. You'll be completing these quests, you'll be hunting monsters, and the game involves building these powerful monuments. That's what's great about this, and to gods. So you'll be leveling up your stats, your leadership, your strength, and your speed, and then you'll be managing your armies and your actions you'll be undertaking, and then you'll be trying to either control different areas or defeat monsters or complete these temple objectives, and those are the 3 ways you win the game. Now, let me just kind of go through what I like about this game. There's a few things I think are cool about it. And one area I think is great is the asymmetric abilities in these heroes. And each one is slightly different. You specialize in different abilities. You've got different strengths. It gives you a distinct strategic ability and aim and unique angle in this game, and makes it feel fresh. I love this monument building. So you're building these miniatures. I think that looks absolutely great, and you can upgrade them, and it gives that nice thematic feel to the game. The different paths of victory, so 3 different ways. So do I control an area, or do I build the monuments, or do I defeat monsters? And I like the raids and the monster hunting. It gives a bit of a dynamic presence in the game, and it's quite well done, and it kind of forces players to balance your efforts between combat and your strategic planning and how you play out this game. And I think they've done a good job at that. And I think this is a nice game where you've got 3 different ways to win. And I like that about games where it's not just one path to victory, if I can choose which one I want. And sure, certain ones are easier than others. Building those monuments is really difficult. And I think that's probably the most challenging one out of them all. So check it out. It's a good game, Lords of Hellas. Let's now move in to our number 5. And I would say this is quite thematic. And although it's got miniatures, it didn't feel a miniatures game as such. And really, you could have designed this game without miniatures. But still, I think it's a great game. And I think it's a really good experience. This is Everfields. Now, Everfields is a kind of dreamy type of game where you'll be going through these different types of puzzles. So let me explain how the game plays, and I'll let you know my thoughts on it. So in Everfields, it's a cooperative game. You're working together, and you've got a narrative kind of driven story. And what you'll be doing is you'll be going into this kind of dreamscape. You'll be looking at these forgotten memories, and you'll be solving these kind of almost escape room-like puzzles. And then when you get deeper into this kind of dream world, you'll unlock these kind of new rules that be introduced and different abilities while trying to piece this kind of story together. And you've got this deck building mechanism where you're customizing your deck, which influences your kind of journey that you're going through and to overcome these kind of complex challenges. So what I like about this game, there's a few different things. I love that story. I think it's great. It gives you that narrative sense and feeling, and immerses you into the game and this kind of journey you're going through, and I've done a good job with that. And I think as well, those puzzles, escape room puzzles, they can feel really challenging with these hidden clues, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what's going on here? How does this link with this? And you've got to work together to solve these puzzles and bring the pieces together. And I really like that. And I think they've done a great job in it. I love that the deck building mechanism's quite good in it, and you're building your deck. And I like how you can customize your ability and your deck and what you're doing. And I love that kind of, it's almost that personal growth. I've got my own unique deck. and it lets me do these things. I think they've done well in that. And it's quite a complex game, but I like that they've evolved that complexity because they introduced new rules as you go through the game, and I think they've done a great job of that. So overall, I think this is a very thematic game, and although you've got the miniatures and they look cool and it brings that thematic engrossing experience out, I think without the miniatures it wouldn't feel as thematic. So I think they've done a good job, and the story is quite good as well. It's not bad. So let's move in to our number 4 then, and this is all about carnage, fighting, blood. This is Blood Rage. Blood Rage is an area control game, and it was introduced and designed by Eric Lang. Highly popular, and I love a lot about this game. So let me explain how the game plays first of all. So in Blood Rage, you'll be controlling your Viking clans. You'll be trying to get glory. That's what you're trying to do in your final days in Ragnarok before the planet gets destroyed. So you'll be going through 3 different eras. You'll be drafting cards, and there are 3 main types that give you a kind of strategic advantage and boost strength, or kind of you gain these mythical creatures that will come in, and you've got quest cards as well. So you'll be trying to decide what type of cards you want. And then you'll be trying to conquer territories by placing your Vikings into these areas, and then you'll be trying to gain glory points. And on those area spots, you've got these tokens that you'll be able to try and acquire that upgrades your stats on your player board. Now, it's driven primarily by the strategic card play, so where battles are influenced by both your strength and a secret card choices. So each Viking god offers unique ways to gain that glory, so you've got some unique ways in how you build up your strength. And then I like a lot about this game. One, the card drafting choice. What cards do I pick? Where do I pick? Which ones do I pick? There's 3 different types. And you can upgrade your clan as well, which I like and make it stronger. And I also like you've got 3 different stat areas. So you've got one that increases your movement, one that increases the number of Vikings you can have on the board, and one that increases your glory. So what you're looking at is how, the number of actions you get. So you're looking at, okay, I need this many actions, I need to do this, because every time you play a card or use an ability, it costs action points. I really like that system. I love the drafting at the start. I love the action point system, how many actions each one ability takes. So I really like that, and you're trying to balance that out. And I like that you're trying to pillage. So you're pillaging these areas to upgrade your stats, but also you need to complete these quest cards, secret quest cards, which means that you upgrade your stats as well. So I find different ways of doing that. I think it's brilliant. And I love the gods expansion. I think it gives unique ways, because when you've got the gods, they allow you to different things. So one god, for example, might mean that you don't get any deaths. They don't go to Valhalla. They remain on the board, and you just move them to another area. There might be gods where if you're a losing player, you gain points. So there's different gods in that expansion to do different things. And I think for me, it just makes the game a little bit more exciting. And gives a bit more variety. So I think the gods expansion is a must in this. I will use it all the time. I love that combat with the secret cards. So when you're doing combat, you play a card secretly face down. You don't know what the opponent's playing, and then you reveal it and see what strength you've got. I really like that. I think that's great, because you've got the strength for what your Vikings are in that area, and the strength on the card as well. So I think that's great. I think this is a great game. I think it worked really well. Highly recommend it. Let's now move in to our next one, our number 3, and this is The Witcher Old World. And this is quite a thematic game as well, and some great miniatures in it. So let me explain, first of all, how it plays, and I'll let you know my thoughts in it. So in this game, what you'll be doing, you'll be taking the role of Witchers, these kind of monster hunters, and a time in this kind of as Geralt's saga, I think. So players will be kind of traveling across this map, and you'll be completing these quests and battling monsters. You'll be making these kind of tough decisions, quite ambiguous decisions. So it features this kind of customizable card decks, and you've got these different abilities and magic that you'll be trying to create and trying to build these combos. And that's what's good about this game. And then you'll be trying to leverage your strengths, because you're the Witcher. And you're trying to earn 4 to 6 trophies by slaying monsters or winning brawls, competing quests, and training your skills, upgrading your skills. And then the first player to do is wins the game. So there's a lot I like about this. I think the immersive story is really good. Engages in these really tough decisions, because you're trying to complete each quest. and you'll be encountering these really meaningful and impactful decisions that really make a difference in what you do. And it gives you that kind of almost gritty experience. And I like that in this kind of world, Witcher world. And I think they've done a good job of that. I like this card synergy in the deck building you've got in this game, and I think they've done a really good job of that, because when you personalize your deck, it feels like it's unique for you. So what kind of attack cards do I need? What defense cards do I need? What magic cards do I need? How do I combo these together? I really like that, and I think they've done a good job of that, and I think that makes it more immersive in the game. The choices and decisions you've got, it really is impactful, because you're thinking, okay, if I make this decision, what impact will that have? And often you'll be making decisions that feel a little bit strange at times, but will impact something in the game in a certain way that benefits you. And sometimes it might impact you negatively. So it really depends on the decisions, but it feels like you've got this kind of weight on the decisions that you make. So it's just more about than just going in combat, or do I go in combat, or do I make the decision to go here? It just feels, every decision feels impactful, that it makes sense and it makes a difference to what choice you make. And I also like the different multiple paths to victory. We've seen a theme here, because these games seem to have multiple paths to victory, and I really like that in games. It's not just one. Do I complete quests and focus on that, or do I mix it up, try and get the trophies in other ways? Do I brawl with other witchers and go in combat a lot? I really like that, so you can choose your strategy and what you want to do. So I think they've done a good job of that, and I like it. I think it immerses you into this world, and I like that every decision feels like it has an impact. So I think it's good. Let's now move into our next one, our number 2. And this is a remake of a classic, Kemet, Blood and Sand. And they streamlined this version, made it much more accessible, and I think they've done a good job of it. And, graphically, design-wise, artistic-wise, some people may prefer the original over this one, but I think this gameplay is better. It's quite a crunchy, meaty game, but I think they've done a good job, and I like the theme of this around the Egyptian gods type. So I think they've done well with it. So let me explain how it plays and let you know my thoughts. So in Kemet, what you'll be doing is taking on this role of this Egyptian god, and you're trying to dominate ancient Egypt. That's your theme. That's what you're trying to do. So you've got these powers and different armies, and what you'll be doing is trying to battle over these regions, so a bit of area control, and trying to conquer and please the gods through your kind of strategic play as such. That's your thematic sense to this game. And you're going to try and figure out ways how you maneuver your opponents, how you try and gain victory in these combats. And it's quite tactical. So I like a lot about this, like the dynamic combat nature of this game and what you're trying to do. So your gods have got these really powerful abilities, and it feels powerful, because sometimes when they take an action, I think, God, I wish I had that. But they're also thinking the same about your ability. So I really like that. And I like the kind of strategic battle that this provides, and you can upgrade. So you're looking, okay, I need to upgrade this in my combat system. And every decision really does count and makes a difference. And then you're kind of trying to carefully plan your moves and when you use your powers to kind of gain that upper hand. And I like that flexibility in the tactics you've got, so you can really shift your strategy depending on your gods that you kind of align with. So you're choosing what gods you want to align with to use their unique powers. And then you've got different expansions that introduce more gods as well. So you're trying to look at do you focus on military strength? Do you focus on resources? Do you focus on defined powers? You're trying to work out your strategical gameplay. And I really like that, and I think that's great. But it does feel pure area control, area majority. That's what you're trying to do, and I like how you've kind of tie into the gods and trying to use their ability, and I love the upgrade system as well. I think they've done a good job of this. It's much more streamlined, more accessible, I think, than the original, and I think this is great. And it works best, I think, 3 or 4 players. I think 4 players is where it peaks, to be honest. Good game, check it out. Kemet, Blood and Sand. So let's move into our number 1, our top one. Now, I had to include a space game. This is Eclipse Second Dawn. So the second edition of this game, which is much better, much more streamlined. And this feels like it's a 4X game, but it feels like a heavy space game condensed into being able to play in just a few hours rather than these ridiculous 4X games that take forever to play. So I think they've done a good job of that. So let's explain how it plays first of all. So in this space exploration game, you've kind of taken these civilizations and trying to dominate in this space world, this galaxy, and which is essentially on the brink of war. So you're going to go in combat. You have lots of different spaceships out on the board. You'll be exploring this new star system. You'll be researching these advanced technologies. You're going up your technology tracks that you've got. So you like tracks, you like this. And you'll be building bigger spaceships and confronting your rival. You'll go into these battles and you'll be working out how you go in this battle, how many you need to go into battle. I'm going to that a bit more detail later. And there's got different multiple paths to victory. Notice the theme and the consistency here. And you'll be able to adapt your strategies. And I really like that depending on what your strengths are. So there's a lot to like about this game. And I think they've done a fantastic job. And I love those different paths to victory and the different strategies you can use. So let me explain that in a bit more detail because I really like what this game delivers. So the first thing is your kind of strategy, and you can kind of plan things. It gives you this long-term strategy. So you'll be building on what you're trying to do and plan that and manage that in terms of your resources, your fleet and your diplomacy. So you're looking at, okay, where do I want diplomacy? What fleets do I need? Where? What resources do I need? What technology do I need? And I really like the multiple paths to victory. So you're looking at, okay, I can maybe win by this. It depends on what my strengths are, what my strategy is, to what path of victory I want to take. And I think that's great. And I really like this exploration to reveal your tiles. You're exploring these new planets, you're exploring these new star systems, you're looking at what's out there. Oh, that's great. So I've got this resource, I can gain that resource, I've got this, and that will help the change of strategy. So you have to be quite flexible at times, but I love that exploration. I think that's great. And the other thing I like is the technology research. I'm going up my tech tracks, I'm researching different types of technology. It makes me more powerful, gives me this. And I like that, and it makes each player unique. And the last thing I really like about this is the combat. It's very strategic. So let me explain a bit more detail. So in this combat system, you'll be doing some battles and a lot of battles. But you've got to balance your offensive and defensive, because if you're not careful, you can get run over, and you have to allocate resources to try and outmaneuver your opponents. You're looking at what resources you've got to use to outmaneuver your opponents, and there's a bit of diplomacy in that as well at times, and you're trying to work out your combat system and how much fleet you need, but also you got to be careful of your defense as well, and I really like that. And it's an experience. I would just say go and play and experience that combat system. I think it's good, and it feels satisfying, and I think that's good. So this is a list of 6 miniature games that are all different, but more or less all have different paths of victory, and I really like that in these games, and they all feel thematic. I really like that. So it's great. Not only are they good miniature games, not only do most of them, obviously all apart from one, have great miniatures, it feels very thematic, these games, and you feel engrossed in them. And they all feel a little bit different. Sure, Kemet might feel some similarities to Blood Rage and that area control, but they're really 2 different games in how they play out. And I think that's great in this list, all unique in their own way, and I think they're games that are worth checking out. Now, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Please also hit that like button if you've enjoyed this content. And as always, until next time, my name's Jay Sears. Take care.
This is Bonkers.